Welcome to Metals Investors Forum. My name is Brian Leni. I'm the editor of Junior Stock Review Premium. Today with me, I have the CEO of Galleon Gold, David Russell. David, thank you so much for presenting with me these 2 days. Really appreciate it. I think you guys represent everything I look for in a company. And why don't we start off with the high level? What's the high level story for Galleon?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor. And I like to present the story of Galleon Gold. And the high level is, I'm excited about this. It's not often that you can take a project from the infancy stages where there's been no mines, no open pit, no underground. You take it through the final stages of drilling. The PEA study comes out where we got great economics, $387 million at a 5% discount at $1,700 gold, not 5,000. Well, today, if you use that same number, extrapolate, it's $2.5 billion. So the markets, helps us, which is great, and that sort of thing. But also, when we looked at from a higher level, we started 4 years ago, not only drilling with the goal of taking it into a development stage or bulk sampling, but to get this thing permitted. And we started that permitting process, and we knew it would take a while. And a lot of companies, I think that's where we have a leg up above other ones. They drill and drill and drill, and they have millions of ounces of gold, but they don't have the actual database yet for the permits. And then you're stuck for the next 3 or 4 years permitting. Well, we're through that. We have that permit. We can advance this project forward. So the high level is, number one, is that we got the permit. We actually have started the actual pre-stripping for what's called a box cut. The box cut is just an area that you take down through the sand and gravels. That's what the glaciers did. They ripped the top off, dumped sand and gravel behind. It's not that easy to pull it off because it has water with it. And then you get to the hard rock face. Once you hit the hard rock face, you got everything laid back 4-to-1 slope. Then the main underground contractors show up with the jumbos, the 50-ton haul trucks, the 10-yard scoops, and we start the ramp down. And by down, you're taking it down at a 10% grade, and we're going to go down roughly 1,250 meters on the ramp at 10%. We're going to come in alongside the ore body. We're going to re-drill it on close space centers on the 150 meter, the 180, the 210. So it's going to look like a miniature mine that's set up. And then we're going to do blast hole open stoping for stopes 1, 2, 3, 4. And that should be about 86,500 tons. The other key component that is from a high level is we have a new interested party in this. It's called Pan American Silver. Now, this group is great. I've known them for years. The people running it, they're great folks. They know how to run mines. And I got with them about a year ago and said, look, I need a mill. And they said, well, we need ore at our Bell Creek. We need it sooner than later. And I said, well, I can get it there in about 12 months. I can start delivering ore to you. And they said, great, because we're at about 4,000 tons a day. Our mill runs at 5,500. Can you deliver 1,500? And I said, well, eventually we can. But let's start, small. Let's go 500 tons a day and then move our way up. So what we've got for the investor is a fully drilled to a resource base, a PEA study. We did an isolated area on 86,500 tons for the real template to show that we're going to actually go in and mine. We're going to use all that data, and we're going to actually do a bankable feasibility with that. But what I'm hoping for, as we're getting rolling, that we do a little bit of amendment with our permit. So we go into other areas. We go into the south zone. We go into the number 5 zone. So we start opening up new stope areas. Whereas that it relates to a bankable that when you're done, you may have 50 to 60% as built mine when you deliver the feasibility to the market. And at the same time, I will go to final permits right at the same time.
Yeah, I'd say it's a great position to be in. And you guys are, of course, in the historic Timmins Gold Camp. Pan American's right there. From a strategic standpoint, it's an enviable position to be in. Can you talk more about that relationship and how it pertains to, having a strategic of that ilk in a junior mining company?
It's kind of like being right in the middle of the forest, and around us is these huge trees.
Yeah.
We've got Pan American Silver there. We've got some other small players, but Newmont used to be there, and obviously the Discovery Silver Group bought them out. So now you've got these massive redwoods, surrounding the little guys. Okay, well, I like that. Okay, I'm not being squeezed out. I'm being brought in.
Yeah.
So who's it going to be? Are we the Cinderella story out there? Well, I never really say I'm for sale. I never look over my shoulder. I just build it. They will come.
Right.
Well, the Pan American guys are really in the forefront. They're there. They do have a standstill agreement for 3 years. Why do this feasibility? So they're not in a big hurry to say, hey, we want you in our portfolio. So it gives the other player in the camp time to watch
Right.
as we build this thing. So, I like it because it's a happy time. You got gold price for you. We're in the stage where we can get down to produce gold. And we've got people looking at us saying, what do you have that we want?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And so what's really interesting, Pan American takes the strategic position. They also give you a debt facility, which you've done some great things with so far. What have you done with that money so far?
I was really surprised when we were working with them. They put in almost 20 million into our company, offered the mill, offered service agreements. And then when I told them that I have a debt facility I'm working on with a couple different groups, and they said, oh, well, we can do that too. And I said, really, what would you like to do? He said, well, how much do you need? And I said, well, I need 46 million. And they said, okay. So within a couple of days, they pitched me a deal. And it was a deal that I just went, okay, I'll take it. And the reason being is it's 46 million line of credit. It's not just I pull 46 million. The line of credit allows me to pull money and pay 10.5% interest like normal, but to hold that credit facility, it's 1.5% interest. You can't find money like that. So I've got the best of all worlds where they have offered me that facility to use. So what I did first on that 46, as I said, my money's well spent. I'm going to take 11 million of that money, and they agreed with it, and I'm going to pay Newmont Mining Company for the 3% NSR that's on this property. And, when I started working with Newmont several years back on it, we were working back and forth. The gold price keeps rising. We did the PEA study, and then the gold price keeps rising. And all of a sudden I'm going, wow, it's getting out of hand. And at today's price, that 3% NSR is worth $315 million. So Newmont had agreed, and I thought, boy, they're great. They must not like, they want to see the juniors succeed.
That's right.
But they wanted out of camp, so they sold everything to Tony McCooch, and I thanked them for not selling it with the package. So what I did is I saved, let's just round it off, 300 million for the investor on an NSR into the future.
Yeah.
So, want to discount the money, I saved them $150 million.
That's big time.
And it was for $11 million payment. I didn't want to pay 11 million. That hurts when you're a junior. 11 million goes a long way.
It does.
You can buy a lot of steel rods and drill holes and everything for that 11 million. But I needed to close the loop on that. So if somebody says, what kind of royalties are on your property? I could say none. There's zero.
Right. That's not having those encumbrances is a big deal, especially when you have competition potentially in the future. It's a great position to be in. So you mentioned you guys are putting together, you're going to put a ramp in. You've begun surface work. Can you give us an update on that and what the rest of 2026 looks like?
Okay, we've got the permit to put the ramp down. The ramp's 10% grade, 5x5 meter down. Okay, they'll be using jumbo drills, 50-ton haul trucks, 10-yard scoops to actually drive the tunnel. We get alongside of it, then we'll set the stopes up, for mining. Okay, in the 2026, we'll be pretty much done with all of that work in there. And the November, December months in 2026, we will be into the ore zone, shipping ore to the Bell Creek mill. Won't be a lot. It'll be small, 200 to 300 tons a day, that sort of thing, as we do the top cuts. And then later on in 2027, you fast forward, the blastal open stopes will be there. Then the 5,000 tons a month and 8,000 ton will actually materialize. You'll get a lot of ore going to the mill at that time. So right now, for 2026, it's construction. And the contractors for the surface are already pre-stripping, and they're getting ready on the ramp system. That's called the box cut. They're on site doing that. We're bidding the contractors for the underground. That'll be done over the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, where it'll go out to them, 2-3 week turnaround. They'll be on site by mid-April, late April, and getting ready to drill and blast and take that ramp down. Excellent. So it's exciting times. It's the start of a mining project in Timmins.
Super exciting, especially in a bull market.
Yep.
David, thank you so much for presenting with me. I can't wait to get up to site this summer and see it for myself and to get to do this again with you soon.
Ryan, you're invited anytime to come up, take a tour around, and hopefully we're going down the ramp and I'll We'll put the boots, the hard hat on, and I'll show you the real thing.
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you very much for having me today.
You're very welcome.